Just back in June, John Deere announced that they were relocating specific production lines to facilities in Mexico. Now, Donald Trump disagreed with this decision and left a significant threat that would ultimately affect the company's bottom line.
In Pennsylvania this week, former President Donald Trump promised to hit John Deere with a 200% tariff on any products not made in the U.S.
A few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
Imagine waking up to headlines declaring that a cornerstone of American agriculture is moving its operations abroad. John Deere, a company synonymous with U.S. farming, announces plans to relocate significant manufacturing to Mexico. The implications? A potential upheaval in a $34 billion industry, job losses in the heartland, and a ripple effect through the global food supply chain. John Deere's decision to shift production of skid steer and track loaders to Mexico has sparked intense debate. This move threatens to impact thousands of American workers and the broader agricultural sector. President Donald Trump has agreed, but responded with a threat of imposing a 200% tariff on John Deere's imports if the company proceeds with its relocation plans. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States. This story isn't just about farmers and factories, it's about Wall Street, Main Street, and your dinner table. If you're worried about food prices or supply chain chaos, share this video right now with your friends and family. It's time we connect the dots. Deere has been a key player in American farming since way back in 1837. It all started when a blacksmith named John Deere came up with a game-changing polished steel plow that made it way easier to farm the tough soil of the Midwest. From those simple beginnings in Grand Detour, Illinois, the company grew into one of the most well-known and trusted names in agriculture. Its green and yellow logo didn't just stand for tractors and equipment, it came to represent toughness, innovation, and the hardworking spirit of rural America throughout the 1900s. Deere & Company, better known as John Deere, trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol DE. You've probably heard their famous slogan, "Nothing runs like a deer," and seen their iconic leaping deer logo. That symbol has been around in one form or another for over 155 years. The company's headquarters sits in Moline, Illinois, right in the heart of the Midwest. And to give you an idea of just how big Deere is, it landed at number 84 on the 2022 Fortune 500 list of the biggest companies in the U.S. John Deere didn't just grow, it exploded onto the scene, becoming almost inseparable from the identity of the American farmer. It wasn't just a company selling tractors, it became a part of rural culture. Its factories in places like Iowa and Illinois didn't just build machines, they powered local economies and built hometown pride. For many families, working at John Deere was a tradition passed down through generations, creating a rare emotional connection between a company and its workers. And while Deere's success came from top-notch engineering, what really set it apart was its deep-rooted promise to keep building everything right here in America. While other manufacturers chased globalization and moved operations overseas, John Deere stayed true to its roots. That commitment helped build a fiercely loyal customer base, farmers who trusted the brand not just for its unbeatable quality, but for its strong American identity. But by 2025, that rock-solid image started to show cracks. New strategic decisions inside the company began to cast a long shadow over its proud legacy. People started asking, does John Deere still stand for the values it was built on? The company's history, once celebrated, is now being questioned, put under the harsh light of corporate restructuring and global pressures. For many, John Deere isn't just about what they make, it's about whether they can still live up to what they once represented. John Deere just made a move that shook up Washington and sent ripples through trading floors from Wall Street all the way to Sao Paulo. The company officially announced it's expanding into Mexico. Not in the distant future, not as a vague idea, but right now. President Donald Trump didn't hold back. He blasted John Deere on live TV, calling their move a flat-out betrayal. Then he dropped a bombshell, a 200% tariff on every single Deere product made outside the U.S. His message couldn't have been clearer. If you ship jobs out, your products won't come back in without a serious price tag. The media jumped all over it, investors froze, and out in rural America, people watched in disbelief, caught in a showdown between the president they support and the company they've relied on for generations. Though behind the scenes, John Deere's board had been wrestling with this decision for months. They weren't flying blind. They had the data, the forecasts, and let's be honest, the pressure was real. The numbers told a tough story. Manufacturing costs in the US had skyrocketed, supply chains were jammed up, skilled labor was getting harder to find, and rivals were starting to move faster, build cheaper, and innovate smarter. In just 2 years, farmers are expected to lose nearly a quarter of their earnings. Net farm income for 2024 is projected at $140 billion, down another $6.5 billion from last year. The backbone of America's food supply is under pressure like never before, and the clock is ticking. John Deere's execs brushed off China's new tariffs on US farm equipment, saying the impact would probably be pretty minor. But they were a lot less confident when it came to the bigger picture. A wider trade war? That's a different story. With things like a 25% tariff on imported steel in play, the real concern wasn't just about exports. It was about rising raw material costs and how that could ripple through everything they build. Companies like Kubota in Japan and Mahindra in India had already mastered the art of low-cost manufacturing across Asia. Meanwhile, John Deere was stuck playing catch-up. Their answer? Mexico, a country where labor costs are about 70% lower, the workforce is skilled, and it's perfectly positioned to tap into the fast-growing agricultural markets of Latin America. Markets like Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia aren't just growing, they're booming. Agriculture there is taking off like never before. So John Deere made its move, a $55 million investment into a cutting-edge facility in Mexico. The goal? To build mid-frame skid steer loaders and compact track loaders, the exact kind of machines dominating the fastest-growing corner of the ag industry. Deere wasn't just expanding, it was aiming to lead the charge. But for Trump, it was personal. He stood behind a podium in Iowa and thundered, "John Deere just spit in the face of American workers. They want to build our machines somewhere else. Fine, but they will not bring them back here without paying dearly." Trump drew a hard line in the sand and made it clear that crossing it would come with a political price. But John Deere didn't flinch. No apologies, no backtracking. Instead, the company put out a calm but firm response. The Mexico expansion would only impact less than 5% of its North American production. Deere wasn't backing down, but it was making sure people knew the core stays American. Wall Street didn't panic. After a quick dip, John Deere's stock bounced right back. Experts at Bloomberg and Goldman Sachs even called the move smart, forward-thinking, and exactly what Deere needed to do. Farming demand is heading south, so it makes sense for production to follow. Sure, tariffs could sting a bit in the short run, but not enough to throw off Deere's long-term game plan. And here's the twist. Some insiders think Trump's threats might actually work in Deere's favor. If tariffs hit, they'll affect all foreign manufacturers. But Deere? Even with the new plant in Mexico, they still make most of their machines right here in the US, giving them a leg up when the dust settles. John Deere isn't just focused on where it builds, it's rethinking what it builds. The future of farming is electric, autonomous, and powered by AI. Driverless tractors are already working US fields, drones are scouting crops, and entire farms can now be run from a tablet. And here's the truth, machines don't care about borders. They care about speed and efficiency. While they promise to bring jobs back sound great on stage, the real challenge isn't offshoring, it's automation. According to Oxford Economics, up to 20 million manufacturing jobs could vanish by 2030, not because of Mexico or China, but because of robots. John Deere's move to Mexico isn't just about saving money, it's part of a bigger shift. It's a sign that we're moving from the age of where things are made to the age of how they're made. And that's what makes this whole showdown so powerful. On one side, you've got a populist president trying to bring back a version of America that doesn't really exist anymore. On the other, a global company gearing up for a future that's already here. It's nostalgia versus innovation, emotion versus execution. And stuck right in the middle, the American farmer, trying to figure out who's actually looking out for them. So what's coming up next is that the dependence of American agriculture will go down for the threat of Trump, or people will go against their leader for risking access to the very equipment that keeps American fields running. They wave the flag when it's profitable and ship the jobs when it's not. If this is the future of American industry, then what are we even defending? Leave a comment if you're ready to fight back against this corporate cowardice. And if you believe America deserves better, then hit subscribe. This is just the beginning.